Ladies and gents, it's been a bit, but we are back again with another episode of
The Uncommon Man Podcast. Welcome back, folks. We missed you guys. We've missed talking. There's a lot to unpack here. The Denver Broncos, should we say, is in a shit show. Absolute shit show. So we're just going to kind of give our thoughts and our opinions on kind of the state of the Broncos right now because, me and Mike, we are, loyal fans. But at some point, as loyal fans, we really just got to call out everything that we see and what we think can kind of fix the situation. So if you haven't already, like, share, subscribe. It's been a minute. So, me and Mike, we have been working, with the holidays. We've just been extremely tied up with other things outside of this. So
we do hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving for what it's worth. I know that I did. And I'm still trying to burn the pounds off. So,
yes, absolutely. All right, man. So let's get into it. So you didn't watch the game last week, nor did I watch the game last week, nor was I going to watch the game last week. So what was kind of your initial reaction when you found out that we had no quarterbacks to go into the game with?
I think the same as everybody who had half an ounce of common sense. Like anybody that runs on a logical rhyme or reason saw that game was a complete fucking fiasco, dude. I got to be honest, I've never been more disgusted with professional sports than what they did to Denver in that situation. Like, they quote-unquote called it okay, so backdrop for anybody. I'm going to guess if you guys are avid Broncos listeners, you know what happened this weekend. The NFLPA came down and told the Broncos basically because of the fact that I believe Driscoll was the one who popped hot for COVID.
Yeah.
So
like all the Coke. It's like he popped for steroids.
At this point in time, it's basically at this point, dude. That's what it is. As soon as they find out about it, it is a quote unquote suspension. They're out for like 3 to 4 weeks. So put on IR and shit. It's basically a suspension. So but yeah, so Driscoll popped for COVID and then ended up showing, I guess he was actually asymptomatic of it. So because of that, anybody that was in the room, there was some sort of disclosure going on that they didn't have their masks on and then they were in direct contact. Well, that exact same situation happened on a full team scale for a team that just played tonight, and it's Wednesday, so I'll give you one guess who that was. But they're more on par for being a playoff team. Actually, I'm not even saying it, dude. I don't know why the hell the Ravens got special treatment and the Broncos got shafted. The Broncos could have already told the NFL to get bent at one point in time in the season with the Patriots game. They could have told them, hey, get bent. You need to make these guys forfeit. And they didn't. They handled it with poise and grace. I was real impressed with that. They played the game. They won. This week, man, the NFL just went elbow deep in them. And it was completely uncalled for what they did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, dude, I have a little take on this. If Peyton Manning was still at the helm of our team and we was winning games, there's no way they would have made us play that game.
Yeah.
Because we've been basically becoming a laughing stock of the NFL. They was like, hey, man, fuck these guys. Because you see special treatment being made for the Ravens, for example, teams that are more poised to make the playoffs or make deep runs and stuff like that. I mean, I guess you can call viewership dollars, viewership money, because, yes, people are going to watch those games versus watching Denver Broncos. So that's kind of my take on it. I mean, it was absolutely no reason with us not having any quarterback whatsoever for us to play that game. And, dude, it was just
where's the integrity? Where's the sportsmanship integrity, dude? It was non-existent.
Yeah, it's like I mean, you can't play a reasonable game when you have no quarterback whatsoever. I mean, dude, everything starts and ends with their fucking quarterback, and you don't even have one. But then you're going to make them play one of the best teams in the NFL, period.
Yeah,
I mean, Saints ain't what the Saints used to be. But, I mean, come on, let's be honest here. It's the Saints, though. I mean, they're still good. That team has been together for a long time. I mean, they have
chemistry.
Yeah, they have chemistry. They have establishment with their team. And you're going to make them fucking play them?
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. I think that went over the line. And Roger Goodell has been in shit graces with pretty much anybody who watches football. And I think just kind of dug the hole deeper for the guy.
Well, here's the deal about it, dude. Roger Goodell, you're an absolute fuckface. I'll just come out and say it. You don't know me. I don't know you. Our paths will probably never cross. But just given the fact that how you've run the NFL and the sheer volume of booze that you get every single year, it's because you have no fuck.
Yeah, pump it up.
Yeah, exactly. He's embracing it. Yeah, he's embracing. It's like, dude, you should be disgusted with that. Like you should be trying to figure out ways to cater to the fans. If like we love football, you're just a figurehead for all these people who have billionaire hedge funds. But at the same time, like he has no fucking – that stupid midget has no business with the position he's in the first place. The only reason that he has notoriety and the reason he's the NFL commissioner is because his daddy was a senator in New York. And conveniently, that's where it's headquartered too. So he's a product of nepotism. He has no business. He's never been in a professional sport. I guess he was an okay athlete in high school, which, I mean, anybody that's going to be playing or anybody who's going to have all the accessibility that he does, just given family finances, of course he's going to have more availability or accessibility to succeed and have a name for himself in sports. But otherwise, he went nowhere in college. All he did was he went to school to become a politician or a banker. And he did one of those, basically, with becoming the NFL commissioner. So the guy's a fucking bum. So fuck you. And then the other thing about it, on a positive note, just to go ahead and turn the tide, I'm really impressed with Broncos, not their management, which we'll get into that next, but the team itself. And we talked about sportsmanship integrity. They showed up and they did everything they possibly could. And kudos to Kendall Hinton for stepping up and taking the limelight like he did. So, I mean, I was really impressed with how they band together and at least showed up, put points on the board. They didn't get whitewashed. And for the most part, defensively, they played pretty well. Offense, they did what they could.
Yeah, what Kendall Hinton did, that earns you brownie points with the fans and also with the coaching staff as well. That right there kind of keeps you around a little bit longer because hey, if I'm ever in a pinch, that guy Kendall Hinton,
right.
like hey, he'll do what he can to kind of help me out there. And like I said, I didn't watch the game, but everything I kind of heard from different people around the circle or whatever was the Broncos. They knew they was at a disadvantage, but still they went out there. They played the best of their ability. At some point, when you have 0 completions, when you get late into the game, the defense gets worn. The Saints are pretty much throwing up easy completions because, I mean, they're just dog fucking tired at that point. But, hey, man, it is what it is. But ironically, though, I looked at the draft boards and we didn't move. I was just like, well, how did that happen? I mean, no matter it seems like no matter how bad our season gets, it's like we don't move on the draft board at all. Like, how is that possible?
Well, anybody that's worth their weight in salt knew that this week was a fucking shit show, dude. Like, I mean, from the word jump, like the Baltimore game was supposed to be played last Thursday. It's Wednesday. They forced the game today. The team. We already know that there's a lot of questionable content in the fact the team miraculously now just passed COVID this morning or last night, and they're all on board except for who I think the only one that didn't get to play today was the running back and Lamar Jackson. So
Connor, right?
No, not Connor. It was the other guy, the other dude that was like promoting the shit out of him, Ingram. So Ingram was out and Jackson was out today. So, but they still got RG3 as a backup, which we didn't have any of the above. So, like the ridiculousness of it, and just how absurd it is that they didn't just postpone the game or do something else. Yeah, dude, I think anybody, at least coming back to the Denver Broncos perspective, anybody evaluating the situation realized that minus the ownership of the team, which we'll get into next, like the team itself is fine. It all comes down to now we've got to go into next week. That's one less week of film and tape and hope that we have for Drew Lock being the franchise quarterback. So, it really kind of puts us behind the gun. And now like I said, we've got one less week to really see what Drew Lock would have been able to do against a top contending team like the Saints. So, I mean, what we got the Chiefs this upcoming week again, and whatever.
I think it's the Chiefs at Arrowhead. So we'll see how that works out. But so again, I think we've talked a lot about that. And I text you about it. There's a pretty well-known Broncos, media source that they did a pod the other day, and they said it's Vic Fangio on the hot seat, and I was like, what? And I kind of read some of the stuff that they posted. It was like rumors around Dove Valley, Vic Fangio's on the hot seat, and I text you about it. I was just like, and we both kind of said the same thing. He better fucking not be on the hot seat, because I think we can both agree that Vic Fangio is clearly not the issue going on with this team. I mean, let's address it, okay? Broncos will not become a winning organization until you change ownership at the top. If we become complacent with being losers, there's nobody to hold accountable at the top for us losing, for us bringing in bad draft picks, for us bringing in bad free agents and stuff like that. There's no accountability. There's nobody to put their ass on the hot seat. So we keep putting the head coach ass on the hot seat time and time again. And this has been going on since the end of 2015.
Yeah, or telling Roger Goodell to get fucked this weekend. That would have been nice too. A manager who's actually worth their weight in salt and is like, hey, by the way, fuckface, this guy right here, multi-time Super Bowl winner, and I've been to God knows how many of them. You can suck my dick. We're not playing this weekend. So take it as a forfeit. I'm going to be coming for your job next too. Instead, guy rolled over and let Goodell scratch his belly and basically look like a giant bitch instead of a Super Bowl winning. Yeah, all the money and all the notoriety all the pull he has in Colorado, and he basically just did nothing. That's embarrassing. Mm-hmm. He could have walked away like this, like a champ, like the people's champ, and nobody would have said a word if Goodell forced him or suspended him or some shit like that. And instead, Elway just acted like a total pussy about it. And it's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. Joe Ellis, I expect nothing out of that guy. There's another product of nepotism. His mommy is one of the Walmart ladies, or one of the Walmart heirs. So he's got a whole bunch of money. These people in power, dude, it has nothing to do with their qualifications anymore. It has everything to do with their opportunities in life. That is the definition of actual privilege.
Right. So in case y'all haven't heard, I think it was either today or yesterday, we had another spat from two kids that came out of different ball sacks of Pat Bowlen.
Yeah.
Again, the kids from the different sides cannot get along, and they're basically just going back and forth. And I think as a fan base, we're just sick and tired of it. I mean, we're over it. Like, I didn't become a Denver Broncos fan because of who owned the team. I could care fucking less of who owns the team, unless you just get a complete douchebag in there. But that's a different story. But for the most part, I don't watch the Denver Broncos because who owns the team. But I think we can all agree that we're getting a little tired of this whole Pat Bowlen trust bullshit, the kids fighting back and forth. There's no accountability. There's nobody to hold John Elway, Joe Ellis accountable for us just becoming the laughingstock of the NFL. You mean to tell me since the end of 2015, starting the 2016 season, where we just became on a steep decline, that John Elway would still have a job? Chances are, if he was with any other established organization with established ownership, he would probably not be GM anymore. Okay, he'll be all fucking running one of his car dealerships in Colorado. Okay, I mean, so to me, that is the issue. And we will not become a winning organization until that issue is fixed. Because I'm telling you, if heads start to roll up top, the players will get the message real quick. That could be fucking out.
So let's just go to directly from the source that's, I guess you would say he's probably the most connected in Dove Valley. Hugh Gottschalk, attorney for Annabelle Bolen. So if anybody understands the family tree here, Annabelle Bolen is the widow of Pat Bolen. So attorney for Annabelle Bolen responds to Beth Bolen. Beth Bolen's the daughter. Beth Bolen's statement about Broncos ownership. Miss Wallace does not represent my client's views or the views of the majority beneficiaries. It's like, dude, why? What in the fuck happened in the world where you have to use daddy's money to pay for lawyers to get more of daddy's money? Like that, what the fuck, man? It's disgusting, to be honest with you. It's fucking pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think everybody was just fed up with it. Okay, we don't fucking care about whoever. Okay, in that family, sell the fucking team,
right?
Collect your paycheck and go off and do something else.
Yeah, fuck off, get out of here.
Fuck off, get out of here.
Go play white chick somewhere else. Kiss my dick. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, like, again, I just sell the fucking team, okay? We're tired of it. We want somebody that's going to come in and establish, hey, this is going to be the culture of the team, okay? This is what expected. If you do not reach this, your ass is canned and you're out. And I'm almost certain if we get some other kind of ownership, John Elway would just walk away. I don't think he would even stay around to even find out if he gets the boot or not. I'm serious.
Yeah, that's a good one.
John Elway, I almost guarantee you, the minute that team is sold, he will announce his resignation. He will not stay around to even find out if he's on the hot seat or not, because, I mean, pretty much the free ride is over once that team is sold.
So do you keep Vic Fan?
Done.
So
absolutely.
So Vic Fangio stays on board. Obviously, we can assume or we can assess that upper management's got to go. So I would say special teams coordinator needs to be replaced. Offensive coordinator. Do we give him another season?
Absolutely. And the reason why I say this is because I like some of the things that they've done. I've liked some of the things that they have not done, okay? Like the previous week, when you put a valuable run game along with Drew Lock, he looked above average, okay?
Yeah.
He didn't look great. I mean, he didn't look like, oh, this guy, he's definitely the answer. He looked above average, okay? If you keep that same consistency, what do the offense start to look like? The part that I didn't like was late in the game where we could have scored another touchdown. Dude, go for the kill. We haven't done that in a very long time.
They did. Melvin Gordon ended up fumbling on the goal line.
He did, but there was more opportunities that we could have where we could have scored.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
When you got late into the game, you played it safe. You was basically just trying to hold the lead instead of just going for the throat. Okay.
Right.
So to me, that's not the issue. Even the position coaches, Zach Azani, Curtis Mockins, people like them. I think they're good. I think
they're established. Agreed.
They're established. I don't care for Tom McMahon much, and I think he's probably the one that needs to go.
Yeah, he's not going to make it.
Yeah, he's not going to make it after the season. I don't feel like he will anyway.
There's no way. No, but we're pissed off he made it to this year, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. But again, even with the players, if you had a different ownership and somebody that came in cracking skulls, do you think Juwan James would have pulled that bullshit, or Juwan James would even be on our team? Right? I guarantee you, when heads start to roll in that front office, players tighten the fuck up real quick.
I don't know, dude. I mean, that's kind of one of those tough ones. I think that there needed to be a little bit more intervention. But when they brought Juwan James in, they were still kind of riding off the general manager coattails of, okay, John, the team's yours, do whatever you want to do. And so when they brought James in, we all knew that the guy had questionable character, but it was a roll of the dice, and a pricey one, but it was still a roll of the dice, and it hasn't paid any dividends. But now it's at the point of, all right, well, this is another losing season, and you're the one that's solely to blame for that at this point. So as a general manager, this is where we need the ownership to step in and be like, hey, by the way, dude, you're making some really piss-poor choices. You can draft well. You've been doing pretty decent at that. I'll give him this. I mean, historically, the Broncos have never, ever done well when it comes to drafting a quarterback, so I can't really fault Elway for that one. Obviously, we're all still hopeful that Drew Lock is going to pan out. It's tough in the NFL. We saw that this weekend, even to just complete a pass. But yeah, no. As for, you said a key word earlier, accountability. There really isn't any right now. I mean, Joe Ellis is literally just collecting a paycheck. I don't even know what the fuck that guy does. And then obviously Elway is now 100% in charge of all managerial decisions for the team after winning a Super Bowl. So.
Yeah, he's not only GM, he's vice president of operations. I mean, he holds so many titles, which is, some people can do that, some people can't. But the people who do that, they still have checks and balances. You know, take like Andy Reid and the Hunt family. The reason why that works out so well is because, you know, the Hunts are winners. Andy Reid is a winner, and I think everybody's on the same fucking page with that organization. Nobody's on the same page in our organization.
So the Hunts like football, dude.
We're fucking lose.
That's the other thing about it. The Hunts like football. There's none of the Bowlens that give a flying fuck about football. They literally
even the son,
just want it.
The son doesn't even do anything in football.
He's a fucking dork. Like, that dude doesn't have an athletic bone in his body. Literally, that entire it's just a family of degenerates at this point. God rest Pat Bowen, because I'm sure he's rolling in his grave right now. But, like, I mean, you look at him, it's just a vanity crew at this point. There's no benefit. If you were to take that family tree and throw it out in the middle of the forest and say, you guys need to survive for 6 months, they'd be dead in 2 weeks, if that. Run out of makeup and end up probably drowning somewhere in a lake, thinking that, you know, this was where they were supposed to be tanning. And the next thing they know, they're getting eaten by fucking alligators.
It's like, I put my hairdryer in.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Shoving her face in the mud.
Yeah,
fuck out of here.
That's just kind of where we at, and I'm almost certain that that's where the rest of the fan base is. Hey, if you feel the same way, or if you feel differently about the organization, or if you know more insight than we do, hey, just leave a comment in the comment section.
Reach out to us. Reach out to us. It's been a tough season for everybody. I mean, we honestly, we've been communicating back and forth with the fans that we have as much as possible, just due to the fact that, you know, we're all in this together at this point, man. This is a sinking ship.
Right. So let's talk about, I guess, the good and the bad. So recently this week, Bryce Callahan went on IR, but then Shelby Harris is coming off of IR, and we brought back I would say he's a fan favorite. You know, he's a fan favorite. So we brought this guy. You want to talk about? You want to talk about this situation?
You're not talking about old Philly Will, are you?
Oh, Philly Will.
Philly Will.
Swiss Army knife Will is bad.
We should have never let him go. But I get it, though. I think he went for the paycheck at a certain point in time with the Eagles. One, he went for the hometown, and then two was they offered him more money than the Broncos were, and obviously Elway wasn't gonna budge on that. So, but now they picked him up for what, $235,000 for the rest of the season, which is peanuts compared to what they would have had to pay him.
Peanuts. Well, you know, I think Philly Will thought his value was much higher. Of course, that was probably a lifelong accomplishment for him to play NFL and to play in his hometown. Right. A lot more money. but then he slowly realized, like, my bread was buttered back in Denver, so yeah, I'll go back. I'm pretty sure when it comes to contract negotiation time, he'll be more realistic and come to the table on a deal if he wants to stay in Denver. But yeah, Philly was back, so especially with what Vic Fangio likes to do, he likes to run that 6 D back formation at times. And so I think that helps. There's a lot of people that we have playing that I trust a lot less than Will Parks. And so I think that's great. Like especially like like Holder or whatever. He probably needs to get back to the sideline. Like I said, we got Philly Will back
is that,
there, so I think that's great.
Is that where we're at on the depth chart now? Is Elijah Holder?
Oh yeah. We're way down there, bro. We're way down there. Even Elijah Holder is coming in as safety, playing that box safety.
Yeah, and that's not smashing on the guy, but I mean when you look at just the what a godsend it was this week that of all times the Eagles ended up letting Will Parks go, because with them cutting him, like Bryce Callen getting injured. I don't know what's going on with that ordeal, man. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Dude was playing out of his mind the beginning of the year. He was everything we could have asked for and then some.
Yeah, his foot. Nice.
Yeah, and now his foot. And most likely, given his history, it's going to end up being season ending. He's already on IR, so there's not much left in the season. I don't know, man. I mean, do you continue with him? Or do you just buck the trend at a certain point in time? I mean, Juwan James, that guy can get the fuck out of here. But Bryce Callahan, I mean, he flashed this year something that we hoped for, but didn't expect him to be this good. I mean, that secondary was cruising for a while there. Ojemudia, I think that guy deserves all rookie honors, and it's not even close. I think he's been – him and Steve Atwater's nephew have probably been the two best defensive backs in the NFL this year for the rookies. Christ, what's his name? I can't think of
his name.
Playing for Carolina, though.
Yeah, playing for Carolina, which we hoped that he was going to come to Denver, but, they ended up snatching him up. But, yeah, man, I don't disagree. But with Issane Bassie, Will Parks, Ojemudia, Bouye, and everybody else we got, again, the defense is there. The defense is where it should be. We're getting Shelby Harris back, which is crucial now that we're playing KC this upcoming Sunday. But
we don't have Will Parks this week, though.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because he just signed today. So
if anybody wants to know how asinine this season is, even though he's been going through a stringent COVID protocols for the last, 8 months now, he still has to wait the week and a half of transition as if he was just some random for quarantine, like he was some unrestricted free agent. That's like
that's
fuck out of here.
That's dumb. I think there should have been different rules for people coming from team to team. It's not like he's a guy that's off the streets that haven't been playing. He's been in the NFL, which is completely.
Yeah, he had a cotton swab down his nose yesterday at 6:00 in the morning. I mean, give me a fucking break. It's so ridiculous at this point. And anybody that's got COVID right now, I mean, it sucks for you. Like I feel for you. It sucks for you, but at the same time, like, I don't know, get healthier. What do you want me to say?
You'll be okay in a few days. You'll be fine, sir.
Just keep sticking cotton swabs down your nose. You'll be better. It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So, I mean, that's pretty much, in a nutshell, in a wrap up on current Broncos news. I mean, again, we've been away for a while. So just with the current news that came out, we just want to kind of, come out and touch upon it. So other than that, folks, hey, happy to be back. Hope y'all are happy that we're back. Let the shit talking ensue. Okay.
That's it. And just in case you guys hadn't noticed, we kind of went all out on this one because we're just at the point of who gives a shit. Yeah, you want to listen, you don't. We are in the process of making some changes. We are expanding, as a matter of fact. So good news. The channel has been taking off. We appreciate you guys and all of your support for that. But yeah, so obviously with the football news being kind of droll the last few weeks, we just haven't really been on with it. As for our hometown conversations that we should have some new ones coming up here, new content for you within the next handful of days. So with that being said, God, that's a played out terminology. You got anything else for us, buddy?
Nah, man, that's it. Like I say, me and Mike back to somewhat of a normal schedule, so be on the lookout for more.
Hey. All right, guys, enjoy another episode of
the Uncommon Man Podcast. Peace.
Broncos. Later.